everyone and welcome back to a new video. I'm Nadiiife for those who don't know me yet, and I do cottagecore and vintage inspired videos. If you like subjects like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel. That would make me super happy. And in this video I'm going to talk with you guys or tell you guys how to build an aesthetic feed and how to take and edit pictures. I'm also going to talk about my camera equipment, about further tips, apps and everything that I do and that goes with that subject. So let's start with the aesthetic part. Building an aesthetic feed is really essential if you want to drag attention to your Instagram page and gain followers. If you don't know which aesthetic to follow or what do you like, I recommend looking at other Instagram pages and just write down what drags your attention and what do you like about that Instagram page and also what made you follow that Instagram page. I did that and it was really helpful to find like my own aesthetic and how I want my Instagram feed to look like. So what you want to do after you did that is sum everything up and draw like a small conclusion with words that you would like to represent your Instagram feed. And then I recommend to go on Pinterest. I think Pinterest is really helpful for building an aesthetic feed and also to find motivation and inspiration on how you want your pictures to look like. Yeah, I recommend going to Pinterest and like do a mood board of how you want your pictures to look like or how you can like build your own aesthetic feed and which colors you can include in your shootings and your pictures that you're going to do after that. As I already told, Pinterest is a really good way to find motivation and also new ideas to create new content and new pictures, and especially if you have no idea what you want to do. I personally think Pinterest is the perfect way to find motivation and to get like new ideas that you maybe didn't think of before. And yeah, you can find me on Pinterest too if you're like interested in my own Pinterest mood boards. I will put the link down below. If you don't want to constantly look on your phone and on Pinterest, you can print the pictures out for your own usage, of course, and then put them in a journal and like create your own mood board out of these pictures, so you have them right in front of you and you can like always see how you want your aesthetic to be. And what also really helps when finding your aesthetic can also be books, movies. I personally really like to watch fairy tales because I like this Disney kind of aesthetic and like touch look, and that's why I like to like watch fairy tales and Disney movies, because I feel like the movie scenes are already ideas for photo shootings, and if you look really closely to everything, there are million ways of possibilities on how you can take your pictures based on other books or like movie scenes, and like yeah, there are endless possibilities. You just have to like train your eye to see these pictures, you know? I hope that makes kind of sense. What also helps is just like walking around your town or the neighborhood where you live in or the area and like find spots and area. Just look with an eye that is awake and look for spots. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, just be awake for maybe places where you can take pictures and that are aesthetic enough for your Instagram feed. I personally think that really helps. We have like a castle near us and there are like millions of spots and different angles where I can take pictures and do like new content. And I didn't see that at the beginning because you need to train your eye to see different spots and different areas, different ideas on where you can take pictures. Yeah, I didn't see that at the beginning when I was starting to take pictures. It's like something you learn through the process. Okay, let's move on to the equipment and how I take pictures. I actually have 3 different ways of taking pictures. Number 1 is like the easiest thing for me, is just with my phone and my tripod. Number 2 is with someone who helps me to take pictures. And number 3 is me with my camera and my tripod and maybe some stuff I want to shoot with. Whenever I want to take pictures alone, I make sure to bring my tripod. I have one from Rolei. I will put the link in the description box if you're interested in which tripod I use. But I really like mine because it has enough stability, it wasn't that expensive, and it's just really easy to handle and not too complicated, and it's also not heavy, so you can simply carry it in your bag and it's not heavy at all. And my phone is an iPhone 12, nothing special, it's not even the newest one, but the camera is, depending on which light you have, can be really good. And it's actually, if you only have an iPhone, what means only? If you have an iPhone or if you have a phone camera that has a good quality, that is totally enough for taking pictures. You don't need to have the fanciest, most expensive equipment to take good pictures with. You need to have a trained eye and an idea of how you want your pictures to look like, and it's like 90% of it's my personal opinion, 90% of what makes a good picture. Yeah, the good thing about taking pictures with your phone, or when I take pictures with my phone, is I don't need to carry around like a bunch of things like when I go with my camera. When I take my camera with me, I have like different lenses I take with me depending on how I want my pictures to look like. Or sometimes I even have to carry a reflector or something, or like there are more things I need to carry when I have my camera than when I take my phone. But what I personally do when taking pictures with my phone is to use the back camera, because the back camera is often much better than the selfie, like the front camera. And if there's no one to help me, I use the self timer and put it on 10 seconds so I have enough time to walk behind my phone. And now comes a fun fact. When you have an iPhone, you can actually make the light a bit darker or brighter. I usually like to make the lighting a bit darker because it makes the picture much more look like it was taken with my digital camera. It just looks more kind of high quality. And that's why I personally like to make the lighting a bit darker when it's too bright. I don't know if you guys knew that, so I'm just throwing that information in here just in case you didn't know that. My favorite time to take pictures with my phone is in the early morning hours, because I feel like the light is different than like in the middle of the day. And I also really love taking pictures with my phone at golden hour, because it's already like you put a golden or a warm filter on it, and I personally like this golden kind of touch, and I already go with that aesthetic on my feed, like this late summer aesthetic. I just really like that when pictures look like this, and that's why I really love golden hour. It also makes like my skin glow, and I really like that. So golden hour is my absolute favorite time to take pictures. So another way to take pictures, of course, is someone who helps you to take pictures. I'm a small control freak when it comes to take pictures, I have to admit that. When my husband takes pictures of me, I like to give him some reference pictures before on how I want my pictures to look like. So to kind of give him an idea on which angle he has to shoot and with which settings I like to have my pictures and things like this. So he does know how I want my pictures to look like. And if you're like me, I recommend like preparing Pinterest pictures, so it's less stressful, you know, when it doesn't turn out like you wanted to have it. It's a bit sad, so I just recommend to show that person a picture on how you want your picture to look like. So when I take pictures with my camera, I have a Sony Alpha 6500, I think. I put the link into the description so you can look at it. When I take pictures with my camera alone, I like to put something on the place where I stand, like a rock or like a stick or something, and then I go back to my camera and focus that spot. So when I go back to that spot, I'm like sharp and not unsharp. It takes much longer than with my phone because sometimes my camera doesn't focus and is out of focus and I have to go back. And yeah, what I wanted to say at last at that camera subject is like, when you work with the camera, don't get unmotivated too fast, because it's something you need to practice, and when you practice you get better with time, and you can see that on your pictures that they also get better with time. And just don't get unmotivated. We all weren't born perfect, and yeah, practice makes better. And now to the apps that I use for editing. It's actually a bunch of apps that I use. Apps that I use are Picsart, when I want to add wings or like birds or butterflies, like on these pictures that I'm putting here as an example. I use Picsart. Picsart is like a simple version of Photoshop just for your phone. It's really easy to use. If you want me to explain you guys how I edit my pictures, just give this video a thumbs up and comment down below what you exactly want to see, because these are a bunch of apps, and please just tell me which one you want to know, and then I'm going to make a part 2 or something. Another app that I use is Prequel. I don't know if that's really exactly correct pronounced like this, but the app is called Prequel, and Prequel is for videos and pictures, and I have quite a bunch of filters that are very nice and that I really like, and that you can put for free on your videos or on your pictures. And I just recommend that if you want to have maybe like this vintage touch of videos or something. Yeah, that's also a really good app. Another app for like making pimples vanish is Facetune. I don't wear Facetune that often, but when I take pictures with my phone and I have that one pimple that I really don't like on my face, I'm really honest with you guys, I edit some pimples out of my face with that app. Another program that I use is Lightroom. I think when you're a student it's cheaper than when you're not. I think I'm general in this Adobe Creative Cloud or something, because my husband has it because of his university, blah blah blah. But I use Lightroom, and sometimes I also use Photoshop. I don't use Photoshop that often because it's really complex and I didn't have the time to learn it into detail, so I just know some basic skills in Photoshop. But if you want to learn it, feel free to buy it and learn it on your own. If you want to spend money, I highly recommend getting Lightroom. Lightroom is, in my opinion, really easy to learn and to use, and I can make a tutorial of that too if you want to see how I do my own filters. For keeping my feed aesthetic, there are a bunch of apps that help you sort your pictures in a way that your feed looks good. I use the app Feed Preview and I use Preview. I think that Preview, I don't know if it's Feed Preview or Preview, but Preview isn't that great because you can't like arrange your feed with Reels, and like Reels is the new thing of Instagram, so it's actually quite bad. But there are also a bunch of other apps that do the same thing with arranging your posts. I think that these apps are really essential. Without these apps I would be absolutely helpless, because I don't have the imagination to think of how a new post would look like on my feed, so I use this to plan my feed. Another tip I can give you on your way is If you want to start being consistent on Instagram, I highly recommend, especially when it's about taking pictures, to take a bunch of outfits with you. Choose 1 or 2 days in your week where you want to take pictures and where you have time to take pictures, and then just do pictures in different outfits. It just really helps with being more consistent, and you don't have to take pictures every day because you already took pictures on that one day for 6 days. And it's just much more practical and much more easier to be consistent when you're doing this. I wish someone has told me this at the beginning when I started with Instagram, but I'm telling you guys now to do that if you want to be consistent. And it also especially helps when you're unmotivated, because you already prepared a bunch of pictures and you simply need to post them. And yeah, if you want to know and see how I edit my pictures, feel free to comment under this video, and feel free to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up for a part 2. So I will do a part 2 on how I edit my pictures on Lightroom and on the other apps. And yeah, the video ends here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I try to answer all the comments. And this video ends here. I'm saying goodbye for now. We'll see each other in the next video, and I wish you guys a nice week, a nice day, and yeah, bye!